You guys, I hear you. After getting like 140,000 views in the first month on my first movie, here is the build video for The Shadow. But before we get into that, we have a huge giveaway. I'm happy to announce that this video is brought to you as a collaboration with Epic Desk, a company that specializes in premium, high-end, limited edition mouse pads. We've been working behind the scenes to refine the product until it was utter perfection. Today, I'm excited to announce that what you're seeing is my own desk mat that'll be available for purchase for a limited time. These desk mats are super high quality, the stitching is amazing and doesn't irritate my skin like some others do. The print quality is out of this world, and if you choose to purchase one of these, part of every sale goes directly to supporting this channel, so I'd really appreciate it. I wanted to work with a company to create something awesome for the Rust community that literally everybody can enjoy. All you have to do is head over to the link in the description to Epic Desk's website, where you'll find the pre-order page to get my desk mat. The only time you'll be able to get one of these is from now until Monday, January 17th, so hop on it right away. And the last thing I have to announce is that we're giving away 10 total desk mats from Epic Desk. Every single one that you see on the screen now, plus one of mine, will be given away completely for free. Just hop in my Discord, go to the giveaways channel, and make sure you react to the giveaway. Every one of these mouse pads is limited edition. It will come hand signed by the founder of the company. You'll also get a certificate of authenticity that'll tell you exactly which number you got. It's super cool, so make sure you go check it out. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all, from the lights to the mistletoe. Tell me one thing, is there anything that you're missing?
Starting off the tour, we can see the Mini Satori and Mr. Man style quick disconnectable external TCs. Placing a twig roof here will disconnect these, so if your main TC gets raided, you're able to replace it without destroying all of the externals. We can come in our gatehouse, and when we close the doors, we'll see all of these awesome angles into our compound to defend from an online raid, as well as not requiring any blueprints, even the windows on the front. We can come in our front airlock. We have some windows into the compound. Coming up the left side, we have a mobility chute that brings us all the way up to our inner peekdowns, and then eventually our shooting floor. If we make our way back down, we can then enter the inner peekdowns, where we have awesome turret coverage with 2 to 3 turrets that can see you from just about everywhere. We We have a super spacious starter core that expands up into a mass storage area. We come up one more floor, we have a battery compartment that's high and tucked away, the mobility chutes that we showed earlier, and a bunch of bedrooms. And coming up the final floor, we have our secondary loot space. It's not really an open core, but it serves a similar purpose. We have two 15 rocket bunkers to distribute our loot into when we log off. Coming out this way, we'll see our wide gap shooting floor, gives us 360-degree coverage of our compound inside and out. We also have roof defenses here on all four corners of the base. This ladder hatch on either side of the base will give us access to the roof, which is covered by 4 auto turrets, optionally 6 or even more if you choose. Now let's get into the build. Start off, we'll build a standard hexagon core and then add another half of a hexagon to it. Coming to this triangle, we can enclose a TC how you normally would. We can then wall in the starter except for the triangle opposite of where you place the TC. Here we'll put wooden door frames. And right next to that we'll put a wooden ceiling tile. At this point, put a roof on the rest of the base and a window that looks into the airlock. If you want to keep single doors here all white, you can go ahead and upgrade these right away. But if you're like me, you prefer having garage doors here eventually for mobility. And we can build out a couple early loot rooms right here. Three furnaces fit nicely into this triangle and will eventually act as a jump up to the next floor. We'll end up chopping this out, and this will be how we get up to our mass storage floor. We place our tier 1 and tier 2 workbenches here, as well as a small box. You can even fit a barbecue to the right. Upgrade these to sheet metal doors whenever you have the resources available, or you can skip straight to sheet metal double doors if you're not worried about getting deeped on. Coming outside of our front door and finding this square, we can make a temporary little build up here and then begin walling in the second floor. We can put a ceiling on most of it except for the triangle directly above the wood. Go ahead and build a standard elevator here, except don't cap off the very top, only do the half height one. We'll eventually use this to get up to another floor. We can build out 3 loot rooms here, or you can figure out whatever configuration works best for you. I'll go ahead and skip straight to putting garage doors on all of these frames, but of course, like everything, just do it when you get the resources. At this point, you can build out the loot rooms however you like. I'm just putting 4 boxes in each, but you can definitely fit 4 boxes and 4 small boxes in each if you want. And this is just a reminder that there shouldn't be a tile up here. Coming inside our base, we can start chopping out this wood here to give us access to our next floor. Then we can destroy the twig buildup and upgrade the back half of our starter unit where our TC and loot rooms are. If we have garage doors on at this point, this ensures that we're in an 8 rocket raid. You can also upgrade the ceiling tiles where these loot rooms are to sheet metal, so then they can't be soft-sided easily. Shotgun traps go nicely at the drop down from your roof access as well as by your front doors. Having some defendability early game is incredibly important because you're at your weakest. Coming up on the roof, we can start here and place a double door frame and a window frame on every other socket all the way around. These will eventually become bedrooms, but for now we can actually just place double doors in them and window embrasures and use this as a makeshift shooting floor. It's definitely not the ideal shooting floor, but progressionally this makes a ton of sense because these windows are here anyways and we can get a ton of utility out of them now. You can also place utility items up here, just make sure they're not reachable from the windows. I also like to place beds in front of each of the windows to give you easier sight lines. By this point, we should be thinking about securing our build spot as well as getting large furnaces up to help finish the base. So we'll come out to this area and start building a standard multi-TC build out, which is 8 squares out, and then coming back with triangle half moons. Once we get to this point, we'll put 3 here and upgrade them to sheet metal. We can destroy the rest of our twig build out. Off of this, we'll build 3 squares and then upgrade the last one to sheet metal. Build another triangle half moon, a square, and then 3 triangles off of it. Use 2 half walls here, not a full wall, otherwise the quick disconnect mechanism won't work. We'll upgrade both of these sections to sheet metal. We can then put window frames into both of these and seal off the front. You can use a sheet double door if you don't have a garage door already. We'll put our TC in the far compartment and then we can fit a large or medium battery in the second one. This gives you 6 rockets of protection to your battery so you can get early game electricity up. Put a door frame on the sheet metal here, and then follow the foundations with frames. We can put another double door frame on the 3 triangles and then connect them. To build out our gatehouse, we'll use stone for the rest of it and just follow what you're seeing. We can place twig here to help us get up on top. And what I'm actually going to do is create little pods here for 2 turrets and drop boxes on every gatehouse. Placing these 3 twig triangles will allow us to easily place 2 barricades on each one. We can then fill out the deployables. Do all of these exact same steps on the opposite side of the base, so then you have 2 external TCs and gatehouses. Then to get your other 2 TCs down, we will come off of the front door and the opposite side and build out this pattern. We can upgrade the squares to stone and the triangles to sheet metal. From this point, we'll build out 3 squares and cap it with a triangle. Coming back with triangles, we will only leave the last one. And then we can build 3 squares off of this. This is where our gatehouse will live, and we'll build it exactly the same as the others. Upgrade this triangle and then create the following build up to complete your wide gap footprint. We can then place these frames down, which will eventually connect the gatehouse to the wide gap. And then use the exact same build out for the external TCs. We'll then connect the external to the gatehouse and then the gatehouse to the wide gap. Go ahead and build out this gatehouse exactly the same as the other 2. And just like that, we have all 4 gatehouses up and all 4 external TCs. At this point, we can place our compound walls by lining them up straight with the gatehouses and clipping them quite a ways in. Now the wall after that brings slightly towards you, and the last wall should fit right into the gap. It takes 16 walls to get the full compound down. Next, I'm going to lay out the footprint for the remaining wide gaps. Follow the build-outs that you see here. It's just square, triangle across, and then upgrade the last 3 triangles to sheet metal. These will start to decay if they're not connected with frames. We're just getting them down so we know exactly where we can place our deployables out in the compound. At this point, we can get our large furnaces down so we can finish up the base. We can symmetrically create our front and back airlocks on these sections by starting off with window frames. We'll then put double doors and windows into them. We can create a jump up here with our soft side facing us, so then we create a conditional model where the multi-TC gap will be. Putting double door frames here will let us put garage doors on all of these sockets. We'll then make the whole bottom layer sheet metal. And from these areas, we'll build up 2 more walls. Right here, we'll use stone to save a little bit of metal costs. Anywhere that there's 1 wall, it should be sheet metal, and anywhere that there's 2 walls, it can be stone. This way, it's 8 rockets into the shell from any of these walls. And this is how it should look when that part's complete. Coming back to our front airlock, we can come up the mobility chute and start filling this out. I like to put a single door frame here so that I can put a shop here eventually that'll be covered by 7 rockets. Putting a half wall and a shelf here will let us put a retake here. Place a half wall here and make sure it's rotated out. And we'll put a shelf here and make a wood ceiling tile here that'll eventually get hatcheted out. This will go directly to our shooting floor. We can fill this with a sheet metal door for now and get a vending machine in there whenever we want to open up a shop. By putting door frames on either side of it with garage doors, it's now protected by 7 rockets from any direction. We'll want to put a horizontal embrasure on this retake, and then we'll fill out our inner peaks. Just follow this pattern all the way around and repeat it on the other side. And don't worry that some of these are attached from the outside, we'll actually be giving them more stability later. We can actually place stone frames off the core and make sure there's a gap here on the right side. Then off of the multi-TC part, we'll place the floors for our bunker. And then we can simply seal the rest of the ceiling. Coming down here, we can build up HQM double frames just to give our bunker walls some extra stability. And then on each of these 4 corners, we can wall off these sections just to divide our inner peak downs a little bit more. This is especially useful if you have utility items out here. You can add wall frames here as well to give additional stability to your peak downs. At this point, you can go ahead and upgrade your starter core to its final grade, which is mostly sheet metal, and then HQM, the part that was previously metal. Placing these ramps will also help us place drop boxes on uneven terrain. We can then finish it off with 6 turrets in our inner peaks. This makes it incredibly annoying to try to raid. It's about time we turned our early shooting floor into something a little bit more useful. Now that our shell's sealed off, we can go ahead and pick up all of these deployables and place down regular windows in their places. We can seal off this section with 2 walls. And then turn around and seal off this wall, as well as this one. So we'll create a battery compartment here that we can seal off. We can pick up this double door and make a double bedroom here. Make sure you get your garage door down before your beds, just because it won't place otherwise. And then in each of the 2 triangle rooms, we can create a standard bedroom with 1 locker and 1 bed. Great that these also have windows out into your inner peaks, so if you are getting raided and you spawn in one of these, you'll have visibility if somebody's in your inner peaks already. Throw garage doors onto your mobility chutes, and then go ahead and slap down a sleeping bag and a locker. this point, we can throw siren lights onto our inner peaks so then they can't be laddered into and you don't fall through them accidentally. And we can seal off these areas with single doors to block the line of sight a little bit in case you are getting raided and your shell walls start falling. Space can also be used for utility items like research benches, repair benches, or mixing tables. It's nice and out of the way and doesn't affect your usability. At this point, to build our wide gaps, we'll build up with frames 3 high on every one of these triangles. We'll do this all the way around, and if you can do it in sheet metal now, that's ideal. Once all of the frames are down, we can head up to the roof and start placing the floor tiles off of them. Then in just stone, we can put window frames on all of the edges. On these gaps in between, we can put 2 wall frames and a floor tile. This gives us better visibility than if we had honeycomb here. We can upgrade the top to sheet metal so then it won't break as easily if it gets hit. Fill in all of the window frames with vertical embrasures. And we'll place double door frames on all of these sections. Next, we'll want to build out our bunkers. So make sure you place an armored wall that's facing outwards. And then another armored wall that's facing outwards. We'll use sheet metal walls in this orientation and we'll place a floor frame in between them. This will make it so it's not soft-sidable even though we've triggered the conditional model to cover up the gap. Hopping up here, we can create the ceiling tile for it, but you can see there's a gap here as well. We'll shoot out this twig and use a triangle roof here to collapse this wall temporarily. We can then place this ceiling tile in sheet metal and get rid of the twig that we just used. You can see now this gap is actually plugged. You can see there are 2 sockets here to place this wall on, but we actually want to place it on the outwardmost one. Placing this twig here makes it a little bit easier to place this wall. Rotate it outwards facing you, and if you've done it right, you should be able to come up to the front here and see a gap. To fill this gap, we place a double door frame here, upgrade it to armored, and then rotate it. If everything's done properly, all of these conditional models will come together to seal your bunker up. We can get rid of this double door and switch it out for a garage door so we have mobility through the chute. And coming in here, you can see that there are actually 2 sockets that we can place this twig roof on. We want the one that's closer to us. And there we go, our bunker's open. Let's then wall in the rest of this top core. When we get to these sections, we'll use half walls and window frames for our roof peaks. And just repeat the same thing on the other side. Then we can slap a roof on the entire thing. At this point, make sure you use a triangle frame, not an actual floor tile here. We can finish our roof peaks by adding half walls and a ceiling to them. Then finish just adding ceiling tiles in stone to all of the rest of these sockets. And right here, we can place our ladder hatches that'll bring us up to the roof. Double door frames along here will create a door path from our shooting floor into our top core. And we can build these out as loot rooms. Use whatever configuration you prefer. We'll use a siren light here as well as a horizontal embrasure to finish off our roof defenses. Jumping up here gives us great visibility of the entire roof. We can also place a floor frame here in stone to block our head hitbox a little bit more and allow us to strafe side to side without falling off the siren light. Coming up to the roof, we can place a standard square roof tile off of every one of these sockets. Except for these middle parts directly above the vending machines. The reason for this is if you place anything directly above a vending machine, it will actually make it not drone accessible, therefore making it useless. We can also build a little airlock on top of our ladder hatch here with just a double door. We can build up with wall frames from each of these roof defenses to create a windmill tower. And the last thing that we have to add to our roof are some turret pods. And just like that, we have our roof wrapped up. Coming back up our mobility chutes, we can begin hatcheting these pieces out, which will lead us directly into our wide gap shooting floor. We now have 3 ways up and 3 ways down from our shooting floor. And I like to place double doors in all of these sockets just to section things off and give you a little bit more cover when you're up here. We can also put a locker and 2 beds in each of these squares, so then you and all of your teammates have spawns up in the top core. We can place more door frames here and add garage doors to them. In each of these squares, I like to add an auto turret. And we can place our tier 3 workbench along one of the bunkers. And just like that, you have built the shadow. Make sure you stop by my Discord to enter the giveaway and just say hi. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll see you in the next one.